welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is going to be our late recap for Spies, Lies, and Allies, episode 11. We are all back from vacation. We are all not in Utah anymore, and we are all on the normal microphones that we typically use, so everything should be good to go. My name is Zach. I'm joined by my wife, Hannah, and my best friend, Jake.
Hey!
How's everybody doing tonight? A lot of things have changed.
We've changed as people.
That's not incorrect.
I have probably gone through the most physical change.
You went through a metamorphosis.
Yeah, I feel like a new man.
When we were in Utah, you became a eunuch. They cut your balls off.
Well, they didn't. They didn't cut my balls off. I'm happy to still have those intact.
All three.
I do have a dream to be a father one day.
Okay.
So I would need my balls to do that. Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yeah.
So
not necessarily.
You know what they say.
No balls,
no dads.
Yeah.
So, but I did. A lot of you are aware of us and what we.
Yeah, guys, you are aware of us,
right? You're listening, but do you know about us?
No, but so I hadn't cut my hair in like 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's, I guess at first it was kind of sad because we've got a season of All-Stars 2 coming up. Yeah. And, one of our Deep South brethren,
who lives in Minnesota, or Montana now.
Mm-hmm. Right. But he has great long hair. So I almost felt like I betrayed him. I cut my hair off.
Yeah.
And, but I got to say, Hannah, I asked you this, you go and get your hair done regularly. You may get your eyebrows done or,
No, I do my own eyebrows.
Whichever it is.
I get my hair done.
But, you go and maybe you go for a new look. Maybe you just go in, you just need a new look, right? Mm-hmm. Have you ever had that look and cut performed on you that you walk out and you just start feeling yourself?
About this time last year, it was a week before Zach and I went to Utah last year. I had hair that was way past my back, and I had all of it chopped off.
Yeah.
I just walked in for a trim, and I said, you know what? Let's cut it all off.
There used to be this saying about Zach in regards to hair. If it ain't past the crack, don't call Zach.
Yeah.
He does have an issue.
What? No. What she's bringing up is right before we got married.
I had a mental explosion.
Yeah. This is not what happened. Right before we got married, out of nowhere, she just went one day and just cut all her hair off. Which whatever. But the thing is, it was in a kind of like panicked state. She just did it, and then also they cut it way shorter than even what she wanted. And then also the person who did it just took hey, let's fill my hands up with as much mousse as possible and rub it through so your hair looks real stringy and weird.
It was crunchy.
Yeah, and that's what she's referring to.
It was really crunchy.
And so
the girl was like, let's take a picture so I can post it on Instagram. And I was like, okay.
And then she sent me this unannounced, and I was like, what just happened?
It was right before we got married too. Once we actually got to the wedding, I was kind of upset that I cut it all off.
Well, so I was more 90s grunge about a week ago.
Okay.
And now I'm more...
Now you're like Korean boy band.
I'm early 2000s.
It's close.
I'm early 2000s Backstreet Boys.
No, I would say more Korean.
Because not only
Korean K-pop boy.
I get my hair cut, I got my ears re-pierced. Which Zach, you're a personal fan of.
Yeah.
I took my earrings out for my ex.
Great.
We all do crazy things for the people we love. We no longer love each other anymore.
I wish that was the craziest thing he did.
But
me too.
There was actually a running gag. I know we're gonna save this for a redemption house, our Utah trip. But there was a running gag the whole week. Anytime we'd go out to eat somewhere or do something, you guys would mention how you were together, and I'd be like, I'm alone. So
and then it just became like we're together. He's divorced.
Yeah. So listen, I got this haircut, and I'm like, I'm not an arrogant guy. I'm legitimately feeling myself. I think this looks good. I think it's probably one of my better looks. Look, certain hairstyles work for certain facial structures and everything, and I think this hairstyle fits. The other thing is a very, 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 very pretty girl cut my hair, because I had just like booked this while we were in Utah, and I have never gotten my hair cut to where they like borderline start massaging you.
So you are not going to the right place to get your hair cut.
I'm talking. No, I did go to the right place. She, she's like slowly just kind of like, pressing her fingers against my head and running her hands through my hair, and then she starts like, going down around like my traps on my shoulders and stuff. I'm like, wow.
You better watch it. You're gonna end up in like a Robert Kraft situation.
Yeah, but I was just like, oh man, this is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very professional. I don't want anybody like this guy. 1-star review, unbelievable misogynist. And so, she's a beautiful girl. You
got that misogynist.
I got the massaging. So yeah, I feel good.
You look better with shorter hair. I've always thought that.
Yeah.
She tells me every day before you got cut, I hate the way he looks.
God, I wish you'd cut it.
Are you serious?
No.
Every day. As soon as we wake up.
Yeah. I woke him up one morning and I was like, I'm going to go in there when he's asleep. I'm just going to cut it myself. Mm-hmm. It would have saved you a lot of money.
But then I just woke up and I was like, let's go cut my hair today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we did just watch the trailer for which by the All Stars 2 cast breakdown is out. It came out late Friday night. It's currently Sunday night when we're recording this, but we will be back on our normal schedule, and we got a bunch of Patreon pods planned and all that. It's just a matter of getting back in like the routine and like swing of things because we've been gone for a week. And so,
one last thing before we get into this recap, just rest in peace to any Chiefs fans out there.
Yeah, Wes, we love you, but suck it.
Yeah.
Also, Clippers fans and Cavaliers fans, maybe Lakers fans.
I'm just going
hopefully
right
Lakers
now.
fans
Yeah, I'm
later
gonna go ahead and
today.
put it out there. Rest in peace, Lakers fans.
Yeah. So it's been a good sports week for it. And also, when we were in Utah, we were at a sports bar watching the Monday night Titans game versus the Bills, and the woman that seated us was giving us crap about it. And then as we left at halftime, because we were just going to go back to the hotel and watch the rest, she was like, oh, we're still up. I'm like, okay, you're up by like 2 points or whatever it was.
Yeah, real shame we didn't see her again.
Yeah, we would have.
They wanted to go back and rub it in her face after the Titans won.
Right.
But
in spectacular fashion. And then today it was just like, man, it's like they're playing like a JV team.
It's unreal, man. This team flips a switch, but why don't we flip a switch?
Let's flip a switch. Let's all get our hair cut.
Mine's already cut.
Okay.
I got mine cut right before we went.
Well, yeah, we did watch Spies, Lies, and Allies episode 11. We'll get into that. If you haven't listened to the cast breakdown for All Star Season 2, Jake, you did just watch the trailer for the first time. How'd you feel about that?
I'm excited about it.
How'd you feel about that Smash Mouth cover?
Oh my gosh,
that was weird.
I hated that so much.
It's been very polarizing from what I've seen.
I hated it. Like it made me want to rip my skin off of my body. It was awful, horrible.
They
horrible.
They got the first season so right, and I think this one has potential to be better.
All the music choices in season 1 were great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So let's
they were.
hope that there's more of this.
I think there are a lot more interesting people coming on this season.
I agree with
More
that.
fun people.
And possibly better competition all around.
And I'm just going to go ahead and call it. Casey Cooper came on at the end of it, and I said, there's our girl Casey.
Nope.
To which Han said, no.
So
No.
what are you calling?
That's our girl.
Okay.
We ride for Casey.
I don't. You guys are in a different car.
I'm just sick of the hatred and backlash coming from Han towards Casey.
Mm-hmm.
She's a quitter.
I mean, we'll get into this about today's episode of Spies, Lies, and Allies.
I hope it applies
got
across the
things to
board.
say.
A lot of
Yeah, I've
people
got
quit
things to say.
in this daily. So this episode starts with CT coming in the house, and he's like got a bunch of different scenarios running through his head as far as gameplay, changing teams, all that type of stuff. What does that mean going forward? Corey is still very bothered by Kyle and his like lack of wanting to be on the Ruby team, but like I mean, can you blame Kyle? Like, look at that team. Like, it's not good. And they're by far the weakest team out of the three. It's Priscilla went home. Ashley beat her, broke the streak, obviously. And for her not changing teams, Nany was telling Ashley that she's like, hey, this is like a sign of like loyalty to me that you wouldn't. And again, we've talked about it before. Like, Ashley's got more of a reputation of being like a backstabber than she actually does. Like in like fact, like she doesn't really do that to people.
There is the idea that she's a backstabber, but not a lot of evidence to back that up.
Well, it's also funny that Nany is like, oh, you really proved your loyalty because you didn't disrupt the team that I'm on. It's like, well, yeah, you don't want her to disrupt the team you're on.
It didn't make sense why she said that or why she thought that, but whatever.
You know, Nany is a
to be fair,
person.
there's a lot of things Nany says that don't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
there are some things she says and does later
in this episode.
Yeah, it's just silly. You know,
honestly, only remember one other thing she says, but we'll get to it during the daily.
Yeah, why don't we?
Yeah. How did you guys feel about the Ruby Cell boot camp? To me, it felt like a producer's like, why don't you round everybody together and let's film you guys having a workout time.
Yeah, because Nelson already had a boot camp.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Well, let's be honest. How many, like, realistically, how likely is it for a guy like Corey to just, walk up to Big T, Emmy, or whoever else, like, come on, guys, we're just going to get a boot camp together.
This is going to
and then follow
build
through
our team.
With it. Right?
Yeah.
And that's
or
not
get them to participate.
That's not a slight to Big T, Emmy, or Kyle. It's just like, dude, go do your workout.
It felt like someone was like, hey, why don't you guys round them all up, and this would be like your team building montage, and it'll for sure make the episode.
It felt very forced.
Yeah. And then like Tori got involved somehow, and
Logan sat out because he had a hamstring, but
that's the first time we found out what the injury was.
Yeah, he had a sign though that was in solidarity with the team.
It was made out. Did you see it? It was made out of a chess set, like a chessboard that he duct taped to like a broom handle, and then he wrote on the back of it.
Do you think the handle was made out of chestnut?
No, I don't.
What a wild design that would be, right? A chess set made out of chestnut.
Well, the chess set's not made
like,
out of the same material as the broom.
Is that not a wood? Chestnut?
Not that I'm aware of.
Chestnut is a nut.
Yeah.
Sit tight for a second.
It's like that Christmas song, chestnuts
when I was a little
roasting
kid,
on an open fire.
By the way, when I was a little kid, for sure thought that they said chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Like some guy named Chet.
That's because you're stupid.
Is chestnut a wood?
Are you really looking that up right now?
The American chestnut is a fast-growing hardwood tree.
Okay, there we go.
What I tell you guys always want to write me off. Look at this. Look at this. The American chestnut is a fast-growing hardwood tree whose lumber is nearly as strong as
I've got
oak,
the same exact thing.
yet lightweight.
Yeah,
chestnut is
sucks.
easy to work and glues and nails well.
Oak sucks because
y'all thought it was a
so
nut.
freaking
It is
heavy.
a chestnut is a nut.
Clearly, Han, wood.
But it's also a nut.
Yeah, I mean, there's walnut, which is a wood, and also a nut. Like, it's both.
It's also a street.
Sure, there's probably a chestnut street
probably.
somewhere, too.
You go a lot of different directions here.
Yeah.
Which one are you wanting to take, though?
Well,
let's take a right turn back into solidarity with the show here.
Yeah, so we find out Logan pulled his hamstring. Don't really know what that means going forward, but now watching the full episode, you know why they really laid into that at the top, because that kind of played into Ed's decision at the end of the episode.
Which was, I have thoughts.
Do you?
I do.
We so the next segment was Ed FaceTiming his mom, Tammy, who apparently was on The Circle with him.
She did
Is
the
that
show
how that
with
works?
him. I don't know. We still haven't watched it.
Have you watched The Circle?
No. You getting too worked up over this.
No, what did you watch? Did you watch Too Hot to Handle?
I watched Too Hot to
Okay,
Handle.
that's what it was.
Was it good? Do I need to watch it?
It's pretty goofy. Like it's just
It's got Kels on it.
Yeah, Kels is on the first season.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's enough. I'll watch it.
So yeah, like Ed FaceTimes his mom Tammy, who's on a boat, and like I don't.
Good for her.
Then like we get Big T FaceTiming Namsa, her sister. And then,
Can I say really quick? I really love Big T's shirt in this. She's wearing like a black short sleeve collared button up, but it has like sequin embroidery all over it, and it was just. I didn't hear a word that she said to her sister because I kept thinking, I really love that shirt and I want one. And I need to know where she got it
If
from.
I had 100 guesses, I couldn't tell you what any single one of these people were wearing.
That's right. Yeah.
Well,
But that's
her
one
shirt
of the,
was
Like,
that was a good shirt.
Not just Big T, any of them. Like I don't remember any of their faces, like or what they were wearing.
It's one of the many perks you bring to this show, Han.
I really enjoy women and men's fashion.
Yeah, I mean, you pay attention to the details: nail beds, attire, you know,
a tire.
I like tires.
It goes all across the board, and so
Well,
good work by you.
Then you get Nelson FaceTiming Gloria, his mom.
His mom's really pretty.
Yeah, look, this whole segment was to me a sign of we ain't got a lot to work with.
So but Kyle FaceTimes Vicky, his girlfriend, and they have an ultrasound and all that. But I was just like,
Amanda FaceTimed her baby.
Not this episode.
Oh, I thought it was.
No. This Ed when Ed started, I was like, oh, this is setting up an arc for Ed, and then they like just like back to back to back. I was like, are we going to see every person in the house FaceTime someone at some point, like in this episode? And obviously they said it. They kind of bookended it, like Ed at the top, Kyle at the bottom. So I get why they did it story structure wise, but like Big T and Nelson in the middle just kind of threw me off, and I was just like, I guess good job, because I didn't know that, you know, the elimination would end up being Ed and Kyle, but I know some people in our Slack group, especially, like were actually happy that it wasn't just like drama related stuff. Like you just saw people like interacting in the house, which the next scene is Amanda grossing out Kyle about her mucus plug and all that
having
stuff.
A baby.
Yeah, can you tell us about a mucus plug, Han? You're
I've
a
never
girl.
been pregnant.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know anything about having a baby. And I don't want to know anything about having a baby because I don't want to have a baby.
We can Google it real quick.
You could.
You sure can. You
Like,
might find some pictures you don't want to see.
You Googled chestnut, Google mucus plug. I bet it'll give you a picture so you know what they look like.
Yeah.
I'm not interested, though.
Again, like I did kind of like that it was just people having fun, because that's kind of a throwback to the older shows, is people just hanging out. Like even in All Stars, like when Tex just like getting in like the creek naked and then like weird stuff like that.
It's just, it's not so...
I think Jake found some results.
It's not so serious all the time.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, so so I Googled, what does it feel like having a baby?
Oh, okay. You did not Google mucus plug. Are you afraid to?
No, I will. Let me read this to you.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Some people describe the feeling as being like intense period cramps. You're familiar?
Yeah.
Others say it feels like a tightening or pounding feeling in your uterus or across your belly. Are you familiar?
You don't have to grab my phone. I'm just showing you something.
Others describe the feeling as being like very intense muscle cramps, while still other people describe contractions as being like the sort of wrenching, and then it wants me to read an article. Oh, that's a mucus plug, huh? That comes...
That's gross.
What does that come out of your vagina?
I don't know. I guess.
Y'all
That's
have
what
that?
holds the baby in.
Where else would it come from?
I think it grows when you have a baby.
What is
I
a
don't
mucus
know.
plug?
I don't
These
think.
pictures are awful.
I'm not gonna
Oh
look.
my
I
God.
don't think I just have
here we go.
one.
Here we go.
I think it develops like a placenta.
Yeah, now here it is. I Googled, what is a mucus plug?
Okay.
A mucus plug is a collection of mucus that forms in the cervical canal in early pregnancy.
Okay.
It prevents bacteria or infection from entering your uterus and reaching your baby.
Oh.
As your cervix prepares for labor, you will lose the mucus plug. This is a normal and common symptom in late pregnancy. Possible causes, but Amanda did not lose hers.
I don't remember.
Is that what she said?
No,
she didn't pull
I think
it out.
she said her water didn't break.
I don't remember. I just
It was. I think she said her mucus plug came out, but her water did not break.
It may have been something. I think I do remember her saying it came out.
I don't know. So I was right. The mucus plug is not something you just have. Isn't
it?
It grows and it forms and it creates when you are having a baby.
That's crazy that like your body just knows to do that. Like I've got to make a force field so we can prevent bacteria.
The child.
Yeah.
The women's bodies are amazing.
I need no boogers getting this baby.
Yeah,
or he'll be a booger baby.
Booger baby. Hashtag booger baby.
Hashtag booger baby.
Did you see Emmanuel bite Tori's butt in the pool?
Yeah.
So are they like a thing now?
I told Hannah, I was like, I think they're both just horny because like they both have already had other hookups in this same season.
Yeah.
That they were like pretty into.
He was so in love with Michelle.
Yeah, and then like once she's gone, he's like, oh, next. Like he should be on a Eliminate.
He should.
Oh, you know how good of an episode with Emmanuel on Eliminate would be?
That'd probably be the best episode they ever had.
Yeah.
Do you remember that girl that fell off the bus when she was walking out?
Are you thinking about Next?
I am thinking about Next.
You're thinking about Next.
Yeah, because I said Next, and then I was like, wait, that's not the name of the show, Eliminate, but that was a WB show.
Eliminate.
Next,
they're both good.
Next was the MTV show.
Okay, well here's my thing. I didn't realize this until I was on Facebook. I just kind of scrolled through for a minute or two, and someone had, I think, posted in the challenge Facebook group that the only reason Tori's interested in Emmanuel is because he looks so much like Jordyn, which he does.
He does favor him.
They look a lot alike.
Yeah, they're both bizarre, and
they have very similar haircuts.
Yeah, now Emmanuel has way more like tattoos and stuff, and he's probably a little weirder, but he seems nicer.
Yeah, he seems like a super nice person.
I like Emmanuel.
I do too.
I really like him.
I like him a lot.
But yeah, they do favor a lot. Now him and Kels don't favor at all.
No, they are polar opposites.
Yeah, and like Kels is just, 6'6", like he's just a giant. He's like Derrick Henry. Like he's just huge.
Speaking of Derrick Henry,
suck it,
good
Wes.
day today.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Chiefs fans.
So Jake, I know you were probably very excited about this next part.
It was good.
As a big P3 connoisseur.
Hey, man, those are good.
Yeah.
They got the refrigerated ones with the little diced up turkey and chicken or whatever and the cheese cubes. And they also got the ones with like beef jerky and these little nuts in them, which
I can't have that.
you can't have that.
Yeah.
Real solid all around. I love the little, they got these chocolatey drizzled like peanuts in there.
Okay.
Again,
can't have it.
So, they're good. I love it when when I saw this, we ran into an issue last week where we were thinking about dropping our current sponsor, the fantasy segment, Skechers, because for whatever reason
they have declared a war on hoodies.
Yeah, it's strange, but I thought, well, this may be a good,
new sponsor.
Yeah,
P3.
Yeah, and you're probably their biggest supporter financially because it's like almost all you eat.
There's a chance. It's just a good little thing on the go. Mm-hmm. You want to build some muscle? P3.
I don't think it works like that.
That's the slogan. You want to build some muscle? P3.
Well, they sponsored the daily, and it brought back kind of an old school idea of like cash prizes, daily prizes, which used to be way more of a thing. And like at the end, he opens, or maybe it's at the beginning, he opens that like vault, and he's like, "You're gonna win a supply of this many
P3." And
Hannah thought it was green screened in there, and like we watched it back, and I was like, "I don't think it's green screen. I think it's not real snacks. Like I think it's just like cardboard, or like like they."
It looked fake.
Printed it. Yeah. I don't think
it looked super fake.
I don't think it was green screen just for like the lighting and all that, and that's just an insane thing to do out there.
I know. I didn't actually think it was green screen, but I said that it looks like it was.
Yeah, it's how many days do you think that'll last you, a vault full of P3?
How many are in there?
However many you saw.
That's a carnival game where you got to guess how many, and then if you get it right, you win more of them.
It's like the jelly beans in the jar.
Well, let's just assume there's
20,000.
Is that how? Really?
No, just kidding. 20,000 is a lot.
That's too many for that vault. Because think how big they are.
Let's say there's 500 in there.
Mm-hmm.
That was my guess.
Is that fair?
That's reasonable.
That was my
Yeah.
guess.
Reasonable. I'd say 7 to 9 months.
Let's do the math on that.
Yeah, let's say 6 to 9. 6 to 9 months. 6 to 8.
And there's 500.
No
Say-
longer 7 to 9. It's now 6 to 8.
Let's say 8 months.
If it was okay, so 8 months. I gotta change the math. So 8 months is about a little more than one a day. If there's 500 in there.
Oh, then I'd eat them. Gotta
5.
go through them quicker then.
I'd say 5
6
months.
6 months is 2.7 a day.
I could easily eat 4 a day.
Okay, that will not last you very
Easily.
long.
That's like 3 months.
I could probably make them out. Make them go in 2 months.
4 months. 4 months. Sorry. Well, I mean, I'm sure you could. Like that's
Like,
not
oh
even-
man, I'm going through these real quick.
But not even like just trying. They're just good. You know, you need something quick and on the go. You need to build some muscle. P3.
I don't think it
P3.
builds muscle for you. I think they'd get in legal trouble if they said that. Like when Red Bull said it gives you wings, you get sued for that stuff.
No, because it's physically impossible to grow wings.
But P3 in and of itself does not grow you muscle.
But you can grow muscle
you
by
having that as
eating
part
more
of your
protein.
diet.
That
doesn't need to be
that's
the primary
more
source
You're
of
getting
your
into
diet.
some dicey legal territory.
But that's more physically possible than growing wings by
You know
drinking
what?
an energy drink.
How do you feel about satellite sabotage? That is daily.
You know, Zach, you made this point a few weeks ago about how they put these extravagant dailies together, and then there's just not a lot there. This
Yeah.
felt like another one of those.
To me,
Yeah.
I like this daily better than a lot of the better. Than
Do you
that
know what I
boat
would have
one or
liked?
whatever.
Is somehow using that exact contraption, but you have, I know there's 3 teams, so it probably doesn't work, but having teams like face off against each other, and you have to like jump across and knock each other off.
The only
It's like
thi-
last
That'd
man.
be a lot more
Everybody
fun.
loves a last man standing.
I do
kind of
too.
Deal,
The,
right?
the
Yeah.
only thing that with that is I feel like that's so dangerous if you're trying to push people off.
But they're fine. They're
Okay,
falling
well
off
then
anyway.
drop the thing about 10 feet then.
You make it get away with it then.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Like just because like if you push someone and they fall back and like slam their head against it, like you're dealing with some issues. You know what? Make
Or
it,
like where okay, so you had like all these platforms, like
Have them move.
You can build it in such a way to where they have to run from one end to the other, and as they cross, like you can.
it's like the X thing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just
yeah. I know
everybody
what you're
loves-
talking about.
Everybody
Yeah,
loves the last man standing. Let's Mario Party this thing.
I
all
was
right?
That'd
gonna
be
say,
so
I was
much
gonna
more
say
fun.
like Fall Guys where the like arm swings around, you gotta jump over it, and they start dropping out platforms.
that's a wipeout game.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
Man,
know. I just
there's nothing tops a good episode of Wipeout. That's what they should be doing because that's a lot more funny.
Wipeout to me got like it's like fine in spurts, but I get real bored with it. It just feels too like
I watch it about once every 3 years, but when I do, boy, it just hits. It hits the spot.
yeah. I'll stick a Bug's Life in once every 7.
yeah.
It's a
So
good movie.
The Sapphire team goes first. I just kind of wrote down like very quick who did what. CT makes it. Nelson falls. Ed falls faster than Nelson did. Ashley quits. Bettina quits, and then Amanda falls. Ashley and Bettina quitting is not a good look.
No, we don't like quitters. TJ doesn't like quitters.
Yeah, it's pretty like so like they what's weird is like they watched CT do this and how he did it, and then Ed and Nelson went a completely different route on like how to do it. Like they were jumping like chest first onto each of the platforms, and
It had to be knocking the breath out of them doing that.
I mean CT almost fell, but then he kind of recovered himself. But I don't know. It was strange that I mean going first is always a disadvantage, but. Then Ruby goes next. Before they even start, CT is scaring Emmy with talks about fish and about breaking your ribs.
He said the big fish ate the smaller one in the water, and she started crying, and she said, "Please stop," and then he laughed.
It's good TV.
All right, what happened? So Big T was on this team. What happened? Yeah. What was the interaction between her and CT? Do y'all remember anything?
CT had yelled something like, just go ahead and jump and save yourself the effort or time or something.
I saw a little bit of this, like a little bit of stuff on Twitter about that.
Really?
Yes.
I saw someone post in the challenge Facebook. I've been off.
About what?
I've been off of Twitter for a while, so I missed most of it.
Like,
listen, Big T stands. I'm talking to y'all directly. Y'all got to cut this out. Okay.
Like, were they saying he was like being malicious? Like
he's being mean.
Yes.
I guess he's being mean. He's bullying her.
He did it to Emmy, who he clearly loves.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Zach, because it's Big T. All right, and different rules apply to Big T. That's what I figured out in this whole process. All right, somebody's getting mad. I don't care. I'm sick of it. This is crazy. Stop. It's the Michael.
I did think it's funny that somebody got upset about that.
There's multiple people. I saw
a lot of people upset about it.
Every team, like someone was yelling at someone else.
And it was like, come on, it wasn't malicious, right? Like none of it.
It wasn't like he was like seriously trying to like manipulate her to like, you better do that. Like it was just like, jump off.
Even like being like, okay, seriously, Big T, like just go ahead and jump off.
Yeah, you suck so much.
Like,
it wasn't that.
It was very playful. Hey, just go ahead and save the time, Big T. Yeah. Just fall off. You know, like it's just, what are y'all getting mad at, man?
Hey, if you and I were on different teams and you were up there, I'd yell that to you.
I'm supposed to get my feelings.
And then I'd get on Twitter and be like, I can't believe what Hannah did.
You would.
And at least on the show, what we saw, Big T didn't even acknowledge that. So,
well, she did say she wasn't going to quit. She was going to try. Because I have a note saying Big T ain't no quitter.
I'm just saying in regards to like, she didn't like, I can't believe CT would say that, right? And like, if anybody's going to get upset about it and have, I guess, even a little bit of a reason, it would be Big T, correct? So, hey, why are y'all upset about this?
He made Emmy cry too. Like she
did. She started crying, and I was like, "Oh man, he's being a little harsh on her." But whatever.
Different rules apply to Big T.
But again, it was playful even with Emmy. Like
y'all gotta stop this. Like this is goofy. Okay, you know what? Let me actually stand up for Big T. She is a grown woman.
I think she's like 29.
She's older than a lot of the people on here.
I think that you guys, the Big T stands out there, would agree with me that she's a strong woman.
She'll stand up for herself. That's for sure.
Well,
we saw it in the last season. When she thought that CT wronged her, she brought him out aside and she let him have it.
Well, then we don't need this constant, like, you know, just...
It's baby in her.
Yeah, just cut it out.
She's a grown woman, and grown, strong, independent women don't need somebody defending them or to step up and try and take care of them. Like me, like I know that I'm a strong, independent woman. So if somebody wrongs me, I'm going to take care of it, and I'm going to get in their face. I don't
believe you at all because you hate confrontation.
I hate confrontation unless somebody is wronging me, because then I'll lose my patience. A lot of times
somebody can run you over with a car, and you'd be like, "It's fine."
But
it's probably my fault.
You know, Jake, you know what I mean. If Zach does something that really just gets my panties in a wad, I will
loosens your mucus plug.
I will just rip into him and let him have it, and then we're done. I don't need Jake. I wouldn't need you to step in and tell Zach, "Hey, you shouldn't be doing that."
And you also don't,
because I'll do it myself.
You don't need me to baby you either.
No,
right?
I'm the youngest one here, and I don't need to be baby.
Which, by the way, speaking of the Facebook challenge groups, I have taken it upon myself now, because a lot of people just make these random posts in there that are, you know, I just sit back and I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, you know, there's this one guy in there, no, I'm not going to say any names, that posts like something he'll tweet at a challenger and a screenshot of it in the Facebook group.
Oh,
and he
I've
does it
seen
for
that
validation.
Yeah,
like he's
because our patron Connor has gotten on there and commented. He's like, "Why are you doing this?"
I love Connor.
I do too.
Yeah.
But I've seen it.
That's not Connor behavior. To go after someone and be like, "Look, guys, look what I did."
What's the big quote that like Marie's known for? Corny.
Corny.
Yeah. So somebody just put the quote, "You're corny," and then put, you know, the little hyphen there, Nani.
Mm-hmm.
To which I just commented, I copied and pasted, "You're corny," hyphen, anyone on the planet. Like, it's just like goofy stuff. Like, y'all got to make better content, all right?
Yeah, well, like it's weird. Like it's weird to like to go out of your way to like at a challenger and then go on a group and be like, look what I did. It's like, so.
Well, it wasn't just that. It was the guy was like trolling them.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
And like really dissing them directly, and then Because like it popped up on my feed because I'm friends with Connor on Facebook, and Connor had commented on it. He's like, "What are you doing?" And so like I went and I actually like read it, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Again, it's Jake almost said it a minute ago. It's to Michael Jordan. Like, stop it. Get some help. Like, quit being weird. Like, you're not cool because you said something mean to somebody that you saw on TV.
It's
like,
never cool to say something mean to anybody.
And it's not this exact thing, but it'll be like, unpopular opinion, Nelson's actually really good in eliminations. And it's like, no kidding, Sherlock. Like,
that's factual.
Yeah. It's stuff like that.
Okay, so our
Here we go.
local...
It's just a challenge Facebook group.
No, our
TED
local news station posted on Facebook, like, what are your unpopular food opinions? And somebody on there was like, man, I just don't like blue cheese. And I was like, that's not unpopular. Nobody likes blue cheese.
Some people do, but it's a very divisive food.
Unpopular is saying I love blue cheese.
I'd say unpopular would be like, you know what? I think pizza is the worst food ever made.
Exactly.
Like,
but if you take a poll and you ask people, do you like blue cheese? It'll probably be like 90% no.
I think you're overestimating that.
But it is.
I don't mind blue cheese.
I do. I hate blue cheese.
That's where this is coming from.
I hate blue cheese.
She hates it. So
I don't know anybody that likes blue cheese.
Well, he just told you.
I don't mind it.
I think it's
that's because your taste buds are broken.
I think it may be more like 50-50. It might skew more towards people don't like it than do like it. But you don't even like feta. And stuff
I hate
like
feta.
Yeah, like.
I hate blue cheese and I hate feta.
Well, the Ruby team goes and Corey makes it. Kyle makes it too far and grabs a plug, but he doesn't jump off and do the leap of faith thing, which they clearly said at the beginning. So we're like, okay, that's going to come back to bite them. Emmy falls. Big T isn't a quitter, but she is a faller. That's what we wrote.
Like immediately.
Logan said he didn't know how she's alive.
Yeah, look.
I didn't know if he meant like that particular fall or because
in
general, because he thinks she's like clumsy or something.
She's a lot of horny. He's a little horny. You got to remember that. And so Logan gets it, and he had an interesting strategy. Is he turned his face away from the end so that he wasn't getting sprayed in the face the whole time by the water hoses.
Work smarter, not harder. He did amazing, and he's injured.
He is injured. And so Emerald goes next. Nany falls immediately. Tori falls. Josh falls. Casey gets it, and then on the confessional, Nany says, "That's why I love her."
Because she said it's because she has so much grace and humility, and she said that's why I love her.
That's so goofy.
But I was like, is that relationship like this? Because didn't they have their first date like 2 or 3 episodes ago? Like that was the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
I was like, they love like that. That's a pretty big step to me. And it may have just been in jet. Like she didn't mean it like that. It's one of those like slip of the tongues. Like, oh, that's why I love her, and you're like, oh, I may like her. That's why I like her.
Or it could be like, you know, like I say I love people all the time, but not like romantic love.
Well, they're in a relationship, so it would be romantic.
It's different. You're right.
Devin gets it, and then Emmanuel falls. And so that's when we find out after they bring everyone together, Kyle is DQ'd. And so that means Emerald wins because they did it faster. And then TJ just kind of like called Kyle out. He's like, what are you doing? Like, you had it. You just screwed your team over. And they all lost $3,000 apiece. And then also, by Jake's math, 3 to 4 months of P3 snacks.
Yeah. He was legitimately distraught.
He was upset before TJ called him out.
I think
he was really
upset. He it kind of like the gravity of it hit him that they could have, 1, been safe, 2, all got $3,000. And then,
3, gotten all that P3.
Yeah,
that's the real loss.
I know.
You know, I don't even know if they have P3 in the UK. We don't know.
Oh my gosh, Jake! What if they don't? What if this was his only option to get P3?
Let me check on that.
Okay. So after that, Ed thinks that he's going in. When they get back to the house, Ed and CT and Nelson are talking, and Ed's like, I'm a rookie. I'm like one of the few rookies left besides Logan. I'm going in. And then CT calls out to Logan across the house, and Logan just has to go like, pardon? Like, he didn't understand. And I told Hannah, I was like, you know how hard it is sometimes for us to understand CT? Like, imagine if you're Logan, like, not, like, native English speaking, and CT's talking to you with a mouthful of grapes and yelling across the house. Like, I wouldn't understand anything he's saying. Like, that's unfair to Logan to, like, think that, like, he should understand that. He's doing a much better job than I would. And then, yeah, Kyle's very sad. Kyle's just very, very sad.
He was, like, sick over it.
I mean,
it brought him down.
$3,000? I mean, it's not. That's a much bigger prize per person than I expected. I thought it'd be like $500 or $1,000 a piece. So shout out to P3 for throwing in $18,000. Yeah,
half of it probably came from Jake.
I'd take $3,000. That'd cover what I spent for parking at the airport and packing all my luggage in 2 bags.
Yeah,
both of those are on you.
True, because we did tell you could ride.
We told you to have somebody drop you off.
So Emerald has like a pre-deliberation, and they gave him a lower third that said Emerald Cell Deliberation. And I was like,
that was weird.
Did they do that last week?
Is this another one
I
of
don't
those
think
times?
so, because the last one was a picnic.
Is this another one of those times when Zach saw that he kind of tripped out a little bit?
No,
yeah,
was like, wait a minute, what?
No, you're making this into a thing.
Have they ever done that before?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I didn't even see it. And, then he rewound it, and he's like, look at that, look at that.
He always
he rewound it, and then he paused, and he's like, look at that. And then he took a picture on his phone so he would have it for proof.
That happened.
No, I didn't see it.
So Tori kind of hit on a similar theme to what I thought is whoever you throw in, if they're going to win, they're probably going to join the Emerald Cell unless they just have like a really strong friendship with Sapphire or whatever. Because like Emerald is the strongest team. They've won both dailies so far, and they've been safe. They haven't been infiltrated. Even when Ashley had a chance to, she didn't. And so Devin, I don't remember the reasoning, but he said he thinks that they owe Logan more. Was it just that
Devin
he gave him his word?
They were trying to figure out who they would vote for, and Devin threw out, well, there's Ed and Logan because they're rookies. And then he said, actually, if you think about it, we kind of owe Logan more for having our backs before, where he made a deal with Nelson and...
But Nelson's not in this team.
No, but it was Nelson and somebody else, and he said, if you let me have this, I won't say your name, and I won't vote you in. And he stuck to his guns, and neither one of those guys went in.
Well, and that became a theme in this episode, is that everyone is like, Logan's super trustworthy, and like whatever he says, like he goes by, and which is not necessarily the best way to win the challenge.
But it's gotten him this far.
Sure, it did. And so they get into deliberation. Kyle's still very sad. He apologizes to his whole team.
So we saw a few weeks ago where there was like some mishap, and the pizza thing between Amber and Fessy, and it caused like the big huge huge blow up, and it was started by Tori and Corey. And so Tori and Corey opened up the deliberation that following day by apologizing to everybody in the house for causing the problems. That felt forced. When Kyle apologized to his team, I think it weighed him down so much that he just couldn't not.
Well, we'd already seen, like, as soon as like the daily was over, he was just like in a constant state of like despair.
And then when they got back to the house, he just crawled in his bed and just didn't want to do anything, didn't want to talk to anybody.
Hannah thought CT didn't have any clothes on in that shot.
I did. I made Zach rewind it, and I was like, is he wearing clothes?
Yeah.
Well, it just made me nervous. I was like, why is he talking to Kyle naked? But regardless, Kyle's apology to his team felt very genuine. It felt like he really felt like he needed to apologize and own up to causing their team to lose in order to like get that weight off of his shoulders. It didn't seem like it was forced by production or anybody else or whatever. He just seemed really tore up over it.
Do you rewind videos of naked Zach that you have?
No, and I don't have any.
No?
No. Why?
We
why
could probably
would you?
get some.
That's okay. I don't need it.
Because you can see him naked anytime.
I know. He walks around the house naked.
All day long.
It's your house. Your house is on the deed.
Well, it's my house.
My house is on the deed.
Your name.
Yeah.
Good one. Chestnuts.
So, Corey then tells his whole team he's very proud of them. And then that's when, like, Ed kind of takes his turn and he just tells people, hey, put me in. Don't vote Logan in.
He said... he asked everyone not to throw in Logan because he needs a few more days to heal because that hamstring injury is really serious and he needs a few more days before he can actually do anything. And then Logan said in a confessional right after that Ed proved that he prefers friendship more than competition.
He also said, I don't know how to cry. Something like,
he did say that.
Not like that's not a verbatim quote, but he just said, "I would do it if I knew how to."
Yeah.
And he should talk to Josh. Josh got it down.
Yeah. So I was real let down by Ed here. I think
You don't vote yourself in.
What?
Yeah.
Ashley was flabbergasted.
I think Ed, when we get to the fantasy segment, for this season at least, may set the record for most negative points.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that's...
This was a bad episode for Ed, not just because he went home, but like...
I mean...
just to outright, hey, put me in, man. That's not... You can't do that. I'll never defend that logic. It's a game.
I do not agree with the decision, even though I have Logan on my fantasy team, even though I like Logan. I don't think you should ever willingly volunteer to go into elimination unless there's a gold skull thing, which there's not this season. So there's no reason unless.
Also, Ed's already gone into elimination.
Yeah, it just there's no reason to throw yourself into elimination unless you have to get off of your team for whatever reason. But once Ed kind of tells everybody that, they're like, oh, okay, it kind of makes it a little bit easier on us. Tori piped up and she was like, well, if Ed is voting in, Logan's the only other rookie, and since he's nominating himself, basically like volunteering his tribute for Logan, that means he's not likely to choose Logan to come down and go against him. So that means that, you know, all you vets that are not safe are who he's going to pick.
Corey, Kyle, CT, and Nelson. But he's not picking CT and Nelson. And that's the other thing is that, like, it's not like he wanted to switch teams. He likes his team. Like, he seems to like CT and Nelson, and they think that they have a shot. They just had some bad breaks. And so he's not picking them two. And so, you know, it's going to be between Corey and Kyle the whole way. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, he ends up being the vote. Like, it's just, that's what it is. And I think Ashley at one point said, like, you guys live in different countries. Like, you're not even going to talk in 3 weeks. Like, it's...
Yeah, she's like, you did this for a stranger, someone you just met.
That's what was goofy about this whole thing, is, like, he just met this guy. There's no, like, crazy backstory here, right? Like,
no.
You guys don't have, like, it's not like me and you, Zach. It'd be a different story if me and you were on there.
Or Nelson and Corey.
Nelson and Corey,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the one exception.
I agree.
Where I step back and I'm like...
Ashley and Amanda, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Nelson did it for Corey, and I gave him all the accolades.
that's the one exception. But to I don't know, like, use the typical, like, hey, I'm a rookie. I don't know what finals are like. Like, you want to keep me around. Like, don't, you know, what, because I agree with Ashley. Like, you're not going to talk to this guy.
Also,
maybe y'all exchange a couple of messages, but, like, y'all ain't.
You're not
like
going to be, like,
best buds coming out
vacationing
of
together.
No.
Yeah.
It's like, I'd say it's a 50-50 chance that we never see Logan again on this show. Like, that's just the reality of, like, the people coming in from overseas. And also, he's been pretty under the radar most of the season. I think Ed's a more likely person to come back. But, like, legitimately, they may never see each other in person again.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Ed's a nice guy in real life, but you're not here to be best friends. Big T all over again. You're not here to be best friends with everyone. You're here to win money. And so we get into the elimination.
Well, before that, we have two things. One, Corey looking through a photo album of his children again. Did he not do that like last season or season before?
Yeah, it's
he just had like a collection of printed photographs. Also, Logan
I did
pulled
skip that
Ed
on accident.
aside to thank him privately, but also to try and help him make a decision on who to choose. And he was like, both Corey and Kyle no good at puzzles. If it's something speed related, Corey is faster than Kyle.
True.
If it's strength, Kyle is a lot taller, a lot bigger. He's probably stronger than Corey.
I think Logan,
which there's been like the whole running joke for Corey's whole challenge thing that he's got popcorn muscles.
I think Logan was right on about every one of those except Nelson. Yeah.
Nelson.
He's like, you should go after Nelson.
He said Nelson will probably be the easiest.
Like, this is
and
the
I
one
was
thing
like,
Nelson
no.
is really good at.
Nelson is known for
Nelson still has not
eliminations.
won a daily, even in the team format. But like Nelson is like, if he would have picked Nelson in this, like this is what Nelson is like. There, so like if in like a baseball term or whatever, like designated hitters, like that's all they do. They just hit. Like Nelson is an elimination guy, and he's not good at really. And he's not good politically. He's not good in dailies.
Philosophically,
obviously, he was really good at confessionals. Not as much this season, but like the one thing he like excels at really well is dailies. I mean eliminations, and. So that was the one like misstep there, but he wasn't going to pick Nelson. So they get down there. TJ asks Ed who he wants to pick, and he like really waffles back and forth. He's really struggling with it.
He gave like a whole monologue.
It was too much, but clearly he has not watched challenge related things in the past.
No way.
Because as soon as you saw that and there was a stick in the middle, I was like, pole wrestle. It's pole wrestle all day long.
And out of the two options you have, the one you never ever want to pick is Kyle.
Well, and like Corey's just a better physical, like he matches up with Ed better, like size wise. I would say Ed looks stronger because he's thicker and got bigger muscles, but like Kyle's much bigger than him, just like height wise and length and all that. And so, also I kind of forgot that Kyle is just like kind of killed this elimination multiple times now.
Kyle's like undefeated in pole wrestle because as soon as they showed it, I was like, oh no, it's pole wrestle. Isn't that what Kyle knocked out CT in an elimination?
But
it was like a 3-way one.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
But it still counted.
Yeah.
And he's done pole wrestle with someone else before, and he wins. Like he's just pole wrestles like his elimination. Like Hall Brawl typically is for Nelson, unless he's going against Fessy.
Is Nelson really good at Hall Brawl?
I don't know.
I thought he was.
I don't know if he's ever done it other than against Fessy.
I thought he was good at Hall Brawl.
He's good at just eliminations in general, but I honestly don't know if he's ever done another one. What were you about to say?
Yeah, I think Kyle's just figured out the strategy of it. Like
You got to weather the storm.
well, you just hold on.
Yep.
And you're not really using any energy doing that. You're just letting them kind of pick you up, slam you down a little bit, toss you around. But you're not exerting energy. You just got a death grip on that thing.
Yeah.
It's usually best 2 out of 3 rounds, or first to 3, best of 3, whatever you want to call it. So let your opponent wear themselves out in the first round so that they're too tired to fight you in the next one.
Who? I have a quote, but I didn't write who it was by. It just said, that boy is long and goofy. I don't remember.
Ed.
Did Ed say that about
sounds
Kyle?
like
That's why he picked Kyle. He thought he was just long and goofy.
Well,
and then Kyle turns into a totally different person.
You know who Ed was today? The Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
he was.
And Kyle was the Titans.
Yeah.
And
I liked CT's quote. It made a lot of sense. I think was a really good point. I wish Ed kind of had known beforehand. Instead of picking the guy who's broken, you pick the guy who's beaten everybody in pole wrestle.
I mean, yeah, but he had already, like, it was a foregone conclusion that he was not picking Logan. Like, I think he would have beat Logan pretty easily. Even fully healed hamstring, like, Ed's just a much bigger person than Logan, it seems.
Well, Logan's a lot taller.
But Logan doesn't have, like,
doesn't equate to
experience.
strength.
Yeah.
No.
Like, Logan's more lean than, like, even Kyle and some of those guys.
Ed was tossing Kyle around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle
he
just
was.
knew better strategy. And
Kyle said Ed hasn't got the right tactics.
Ed would have thrown Logan out of the Was there a circle?
There was a circle.
Stratosphere.
Yeah, he'd have thrown him out of the... What's the thing called?
The ozone layer.
No, the elimination chamber play.
Isn't it called like the layer?
He'd have thrown him out of the layer.
Yeah.
He's taller. Is that your defense for him? You really do love that guy, don't you? Good Lord, he's taller.
I mean,
He did it again when he was talking earlier. He's like, "You're an option. I'm an option. He's an option."
I can't believe, Hannah, you didn't say something about him walking around in a towel.
I didn't think about it.
Unbelievable.
I didn't make a note about it.
Hey, let me...
I don't remember that honestly either.
Yeah. No, we'll save that for Patreon.
Okay. So in round one, like again, like what we like, honestly, it looked like Ed might have like got better leverage, and then Kyle just like knew like he just gotta ride it out, and Ed's slammed him like. So we saw this in All Stars, but it was much different. Like Latarian was like slamming Ace, but Latarian probably had 60 pounds on Ace.
Latarian was throwing Ace around like a rag doll.
Yeah, this was a much.
I thought Ace needed to go to the hospital afterwards.
He might have, but like Kyle just rides it out, finds his moment, and then tears it away. He wins round one, and so now Ed's wasted all this energy. Somebody said in a confessional, they're like, it's the best of like 3 rounds. Like you're wasting any like energy and momentum you'd have for these later rounds. Like it's not who does the first one. And so, like, if that's a completely different strategy at that point, if it's, you've got it's just best of one, like then go all out, do whatever you think you need to. But when it's multiple rounds, you can't like tire yourself out like that. And that's where like Kyle's experience over Ed like definitely came into play. Another thing about Kyle is like even if he was like outmatched by someone much bigger than him, like he's not a guy that gives up. Like he goes home hurt a lot. Like
yeah. Well, what was it? The last season he went home on like crutches or something?
Well, he dislocated his finger last season.
Okay, it was the season before that.
Yeah, I think it was like War of the Worlds 2. He came home on like one of those things where like your knees bent and like it's like a scooter type thing and crutches where like he got
had, like,
beat
a
up
black eye or
really
something?
hard. Yeah.
Devin said that, and I quote, Kyle is all heart.
Yeah, grit and grind.
You know what? He actually is.
And white and veneers.
Very Tony Allen-esque in that he's goofy.
Okay. Did he just get arrested?
Did Tony get arrested?
Are you serious? Do you
Even
not know
I
about
knew
this?
about that.
Tony Allen got arrested with like 20 other NBA players because they all defrauded a bunch of people out of like insurance money. Like it's like him and Sebastian Telfair and like a whole gambit of people that you would know every one of them, I think. And they were like submitting claims for like dental procedures and stuff that they were not getting done. And now Tony ended up, I think, having most of his returned, like to where, but there was like a middleman that was getting a cut out of it. But part of the reason they got caught is like 3 people submitted like identical dental procedures on the same day at the same place, and they were in different parts of like one was in another country at the time, and they were like basically kind of like defrauding the NBA insurance payouts and stuff.
I was really disappointed because when I found out, I told Zach, I was like, "Well, now he can't
How'd
run.
you miss it? Like Vernon
he can't
had a
run
whole thing
for
about it.
mayor of Memphis."
No, I didn't. I had no clue.
Yeah, it happened like before we went to Utah. Like it's probably about 2 weeks ago now.
That's why. That's probably why I hadn't been on the show. Huh?
Yeah, I don't think he's in jail or anything. Like they probably arrest him and then they're out on bail or whatever. Because it's not like crimes like you're worried about. It's not like a threat to society or anything. But
he didn't murder anybody.
Yeah, it was a
whole thing,
a huge breaking thing. I'm gonna
because I've been saying this for a long time since Tony Allen retired. He could have run for mayor and would have won.
All right,
almost definitely.
Here we go.
But now
you're gonna know a lot of these. Terrence Williams, Alan Anderson, who I believe is like a part coach now. Anthony Allen, Shannon Brown, William Bynum, Big Baby Davis, Christopher Douglas Roberts, Melvin Ely, Jamario Moon, Darius Miles, Milton Palacio, I don't know who that is, Ruben Patterson, Eddie Robinson, Greg Smith, Sebastian Telfair, Charles Watson Jr., Antoine Wright, and Anthony Roten. Oh, Tony Roten. Tony Roten was the other one.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust Tony Allen as a mayor, by the way.
No, Zach Randolph maybe.
Maybe.
But But yeah,
my point being,
I'm sorry I broke that to you.
He's still all heart, grit, and grind.
Yeah.
Fair.
He is.
You got to milk that horse.
I think Kyle is very all heart, grit, and grind-esque, right?
I do. Yeah, I think he's all in. Like,
because I don't think he's not the most athletic guy out there. He has his flaws. Tony couldn't shoot, not much of an offensive threat, but he has his strengths.
oh yeah.
Defense.
And they're great.
Also, Tony was a great cutter without the ball.
Yeah, for sure. But
And Tony Allen's kind of long and goofy.
but the main point being that I think the all heart comparison applies here.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, now he has a kid involved.
Yeah, he does.
To be like not like the kid's not there yet. I guess it is now in real time.
It is.
He's been posting videos of the baby on his stories and pictures and stuff.
So
it's a cute baby.
Kyle wins round 2. Like same thing. Like he kind of like waited for his opening and then just like pulled it on out. And at this point, Ed goes home. Basically, his own fault. Like it's his own fault.
He did it to himself, which sucks.
So TJ tells Kyle he can choose any team he wants. I know he's friends with CT, and but I didn't expect him to kick Nelson off, and I figured he might take like Josh off of the other team and send him to Ruby.
That's what I would have done.
Because again, like if you put Kyle with Devin and Emmanuel, like this is still a solid group, and you've got 3 guys still. Now you're joining a team that just lost one of their other strong players in Ed, and so he
CT's the GOAT.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's the allure there is that CT is just one last season.
So does this mean Kyle is undefeated in pole wrestle?
In a way, because I don't think those other ones were officially called pole wrestle.
But pole wrestle-esque
Yeah.
eliminations, is he undefeated now?
I think so. The only other really elimination I remember with Kyle is that one way he did against Theo, where they like
ran back and forth, but he
carrying like all different stuff.
He was still smoking a lot then, and he even said as much.
Does he not smoke now?
I don't think so.
I mean, MTV just doesn't show that anymore. They used to all the time. Like now, they just kind of like never show. If they do, they never show anyone actually smoking. They might show a cigarette in their hand. Mm-hmm. But
I think he quit or either cut back a lot because it was the last like 2 or 3 seasons he came back and like said that he was taking it really seriously and he was like actually training on the off season and taking care of himself so that he can compete better in this show.
Well, I mean his first season when he made the final, he's like my conditioning's not good because I smoke so much.
Yeah.
But anyway, apparently this move really makes Nelson mad.
And then Nelson was like, "It's not funny," and because I just have a note saying, "Nelson, it is funny."
I mean, like, I guess I kind of get why Nelson's upset, but like at the same time, he's joining his best friend's team.
So
Also,
why is he so upset?
Also, it wasn't a snake move like Nelson indicated. That's not a because he almost alluded to it as if
like he had promised.
Kyle had indicated that no, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. We never saw that.
Yeah. It's weird because he's with Corey.
Yeah.
His best friend.
And that team...
it helps Corey.
That team did just almost win the daily.
Also, that team now has 3 guys compared to his team, which would only have 2.
Also, like, I don't think that team's as bad as everybody lets on. I think comparatively, like...
I mean, they almost won the daily.
Big T's clearly the weak link, but, like, Emmy has performed this season. Mm-hmm. Logan has performed this season. Corey... one of the better competitors. And now you got Nelson on, and Corey's your boy. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of weird.
I didn't understand why he was so upset about it. He was so mad.
CT was, in his confessional at least, like kind of up in the air on Kyle joining because he's like, he's a great guy, but he also is just kind of like unstable. Like you don't know what you're going to get out of it, which I get that. But also, I mean, it's not like Nelson's like the face of consistency over there. Like, it's going to be funny if Nelson moves teams and then the Emerald team wins the next daily because there's Emerald or Sapphire team that wins the next daily as soon as Nelson leaves them.
Can I just say I hate the color names. It's so hard to remember.
I do get Emerald and Sapphire confused.
It's so hard. Why could it not be blue, red,
White.
yellow, or green, or purple, or orange.
Well, All Stars, yeah. I mean, they had like bronze and silver and black and gold. Yeah.
But like back in the day, it was like white, brown, yellow, blue, green, red, orange. Like, give us easy colors.
Somebody was a Pokemon fan.
Give us easy colors. Emerald, sapphire, ruby. It's so unnecessary to me. It like ever since it started, it has been really bugging me. It gets worse every episode. I get more and more aggravated. I hate it. I'm not gonna call them that. I all my notes are CT's team, Devin's team, and Corey's team.
Well, the Emerald team somehow dodges another bullet by not getting infiltrated 2 weeks in a row.
Kyle absolutely should have taken Josh's spot.
I
100%.
agree. Just to like cause some problems, like self-sabotage them but he likes Devin, so I don't know. I do get the allure of CT. Like again, CT is arguably the best player. I think didn't CT win that reality TV like thing? It came down to like him and Johnny Bananas, and CT won the final vote that The Ringer did.
I'm unfamiliar.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The Ringer did like the best faces of like reality TV, and it was from all over. And I'm pretty sure it came down to like CT and Johnny Bananas, and CT won. And I don't know. CT's more likable for sure.
Yeah, I think Johnny Bananas can be kind of polarizing.
Yeah. I
Like
agree.
people either really like him or they really hate
I
him.
agree with that. What's some superlatives for this episode?
Who smashed heads?
I'm pointing at you two.
I asked. Who smashed heads?
I'm pointing at you two.
I'm always. Let me go last.
Okay. Who smashed some heads, Hannah? CT when he scared Emmy before the daily and she cried.
For me, I'll give it to Kyle, but just out of the fact that Nelson thinks that he did it to him, and there wasn't really much there. But also, Kyle did win the elimination and just kind of outlasted Ed.
I'm gonna give it to Logan. We have seems to be in particular a thing with our team, the Titans. We have seen hamstring injury after hamstring injury.
Oh yeah,
and how it just
ACLs and stuff.
I just meant over the years, not even this
okay.
season. Just think back to like Kenny Britt, just hamstring all the time, hamstring. And so to see a guy performing on the hamstring issue, that's smashing heads if you ask me.
All right,
And he did well.
who got their head smashed?
Ashley, when Ed volunteered his tribute for Logan, she was just absolutely astonished.
I'm gonna double up on Kyle because man, he was real sad after that daily. He was distraught over all that. No one's gonna say Ed.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, I'll give it to Ed.
I mean, it's
Just-
just
It speaks for
out
itself.
of principle.
He smashed his own head.
Yeah,
You don't need me to go into detail. We've already done it.
Pop culture recommendations for the week.
Taika Waititi.
What about him?
He's my pop culture person of the week. He directed and starred in What We Do in the Shadows, which is the first thing I ever saw him in, and it's absolutely hilarious. And then he directed Thor Ragnarok, which I never saw the first two Thor movies, but I saw that one in theaters with you and our friend No Talkie Seth. Fantastic movie. His humor is always just top notch. And then he was in Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds.
Well, before that, he also wrote and directed Hunt for the Wilder People, and he was in that too.
That's a great
That
movie.
is a great movie.
That's a great little indie movie.
Yeah.
Also, in Free Guy, played the villain. He's so good at just playing that kind of character. I'm a fan of Taika Waititi. Also, he's dating Rita Ora, which is strange, but
And
it works.
possibly almost.
I've not seen them together in a long time, but he's been with Rita
Valkyrie.
Ora
What's her
in a
name?
lot of
What's
public
Valkyrie's
events.
name?
I can't remember.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently, they had like a three-way
throuple.
couple thing.
But I don't think she's in it anymore. I don't know.
Tessa Thompson. Emma Thompson's, I think, is from Back to the Future.
I had it and it just left me. You go, Zach.
Is it Tessa Thompson?
No, it's not.
You know what? I can't do Far Cry 6.
I got it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go your route a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna go comic.
Okay.
You're a
Okay.
big comic guy.
Do you read comics?
I read this one.
Okay.
This is one.
Just the one.
Well, I don't know how you call them, like series or like whatever. And there's actually video games for it. The Injustice.
Well, I bought you those.
You did.
Yeah.
Which gave me it's the same story, but there's parts of the story that aren't in the video games.
Okay. Yeah.
So like the comics you got me are the parts that I hadn't seen, because there's like a year one thing and then the game, and there's like year two and then Injustice 2, and so it's a wild world, and I got really excited because the whole concept is what happens when Superman turns bad, right? And I got really excited about the Snyder cut of Justice League, because at the end they teased that whole concept.
Oh, really?
Superman is a bad guy. It was one of those nightmare things that Batman had. And I thought the Snyder cut was great. That 10 to 15 minute little segment was probably the coolest part of the movie to me. But it's just a wild little world, man, where like Superman's a bad guy, and he's clearly like the most powerful dude on the planet. And it's like, what do you do? And it further like dives into Batman's like, his ability to just adapt and just as a man, not like
He's not an alien.
He's not an alien. He's not super powered. He's just
Got money.
resourceful.
Yeah.
And
He has the resources.
the Injustice storyline. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, I bought you
Okay.
the trades, which is like the collection of like the individual comics.
Yeah.
I think I got them at McKay's in Nashville.
That's a good spot too.
Yeah.
I like McKay's.
I don't really have anything off the top of my head. I can't say Far Cry 6 yet. I got it. I've installed it, but I haven't started playing it yet. You know what? I guess I don't think we've actually said it on here. I guess I'll pick LA Noire because Hannah's playing through LA Noire, and I'm just kind of watching and doing the like chase scenes because she doesn't like doing that. It's a really fun game. I wish they would make a sequel because they could do a lot of things better now, 10, 12 years later, that they couldn't do in 2010.
So if the developers for LA Noire are listening to this,
They're not.
please, for my sake, if nobody else's, make a sequel because it's really fun and it's really good. But make the homicide part a lot longer.
Yeah, also
Please and thank
there's
you.
some control issues that they need to sort out, things like that. But overall, it's still a really solid, fun game. And I played it by myself like 8 years ago or something like that, and then so I had forgotten a lot of it, and so she's playing through it right now.
I'm having a lot of fun.
So that's
and
mine.
In another life, I would have been a detective.
If for some reason I have already said that, or she already said it in another episode, then watch Hunt for the Wilder People, because it's Sam Neill from Jurassic Park, and then the kid from Deadpool 2.
Did you know Sam Neill was in it?
The main guy in Jurassic Park.
I'm
Yeah,
just
it's
in
fine.
general unfamiliar with Hunt for the Wilder People.
It's really
so
good.
I don't know who is in that movie.
Sam
know-
Neill from Jurassic Park.
And
Great.
Taika
Good for
Waititi
Sam.
and the fat kid from Deadpool 2.
Yep.
That's also
He's
New
a funny
Zealand.
kid.
He is.
He's really funny.
You ready?
Oh, let me get them things. Let me get these things pulled up.
Hey, put that thing on it.
Are we officially making the switch to P3?
Yes, I'm dropping Skechers because I like a good hoodie.
You want to build some muscle?
P3.
All right. Are you ready, Zach?
Yeah.
All right. We're kicking it off with Ed kicking doors open on the way in. That's a 5-pointer. Kyle screams Ruby for life. We'll give him 5 points.
I think it was ironic.
Well, Corey doesn't think it's funny. Negative 5 to Corey. Emmy says that Kyle doesn't deserve the ruby. Negative 5 to Kyle. Ashley said that she operates in blind trust. We call that faith. I'm gonna give her 15 points for that.
It's
For
it's
having
like
faith.
it's like Indiana Jones walking out on that invisible bridge.
Yeah. Corey said our team is a joke right now. Negative 10 to Logan,
Oh, you're gonna for everybody,
Emmy, Kyle, and Big T. Yeah.
but not
10.
Corey.
No, because he's calling them out.
But he's part of that team.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he would say I'm a joke.
So Kyle, Logan.
Logan, Big T, and Emmy.
Big T, and okay, I got it.
Let's see. Let's see. Logan pulled a hammy. That's a -10. We get per Ed's mom. Ed has the good mind. 5 points.
I don't remember that.
Let's see.
He's got that wrinkle brain.
We get a Nelson redemption story about how troubled a kid he was, and look at him now. 10 points. Let's see. Amanda lost her mucus plug in the toilet, or was having some sort of mucus plug problems. That sounds disgusting. I'm giving her -20 for that.
Oh my gosh.
Where is she? Oh, you
on
got
my
it right here. And now that we've seen pictures of it, I'd agree.
Kyle was transformed into a baby. 5 points. Emmanuel took a bite out of Tori's butt. 10 points to Emmanuel. We get female Emmanuel walking around. 5 points. Didn't he kind of cross-dress? Isn't that what that was?
Yeah.
She wore. He wore some of Tori's clothes and did like a modeling thing and
5
danced.
Yeah.
It was a fun little segment.
Another 5 points for twerking Emmanuel.
He's a dancer. You got to remember that.
Yeah.
And another 10 points to him because he owns the staircase.
Yep.
He did.
Emmanuel likes that Tori is weird. 5 points to Tori. Okay.
Tori likes that Emmanuel is weird.
Well, that wasn't the comment that was made, Han. So
Sorry.
Now we're just alluding to things.
They
Hey, Han, I got the fantasy points here, all right? You ready?
No.
Casey mimicked a firehouse. Or a fire hose, I'm
What?
sorry.
I was like, what?
What's a firehouse?
Casey mimicked a fire hose. -5.
Why is that negative?
Because it's not... You know what she is?
If you gave out points for every time someone was not funny.
I have!
He has, really.
I have.
He does. Because it's cringy.
When they try to be funny and it's not.
Why is Amber
It's
B
cringy.
still on this list?
This is too high for Bettina. -5.
I had to fix this out. All right, we're good.
We're going to give 5 points to CT for setting the example for his team. -15 to Ed. He explained the daily coming back from commercial. We're going to give 15 points to CT because he did cross. Nelson thinks of happy things. 5 points. We're going to give -15 to Ashley and Bettina because they quit.
They're both on my team, of course.
Another -10 to Bettina because she just wants to die. And that's not a good way to live.
You got that right.
Am I right, Han?
Yeah.
Let's see. Now, all right, here's an example of making a joke but being funny.
Yes.
I guess it was in reference to the Ruby team about them having a shot at this, and Tori said, "Yeah, a shot to the butt with water." 10 points. Amy wants to go to mommy. -5. We get Rodeo Nelson. 5 points.
He was acting like that was his wiener.
Corey wants to be an example for his team also. 5 points. We're going to give him another 15 because he crossed. 15 to Kyle because he crossed, but a -10 because he did not take the leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Emmy gave her middle fingers, again, 5 points.
I sound like you just mispronounced middle.
Yeah, metal. Hey, I'm going to give 5 points to Big T because that was a cool fall.
She did a complete flip.
But Logan doesn't know how she's alive. -5 to Big T. 15 points to Logan because he completed it. Amanda just wants the Emerald team or for the kids to eat poop. -5 to the Emerald team.
Oh, who all is that?
Who is all? That's
Josh.
Casey. Yeah, Casey, Josh. You got that?
So
Casey.
let me go through it in this way. So Josh, Emmanuel. I'm just going through in order of
Devin and Casey and Nani.
Hold your horses. Nani,
Casey, Devin and Tori.
Yeah, Devin. I'm just going through who's on whose team. Devin and Tori. Okay.
Tori's a straight land animal. 5 points. Casey is just cool, calm, and collected. We appreciate that. 5 points.
That's all right.
Nani thinks Casey smashes things with grace and humility. You know what? -5 to Nani. What a weird thing to say. 15 points to Casey because she completed it. Devin has a little bit of brain, 5 points. Brian. It's Brian. It's still 5 points, but that didn't make sense when I read it, but it auto-corrected. Devin has a little bit of brawn.
Yeah, I was like a little... Anyway, by the way, we didn't say it. Shout out to Devin for saying, like, I can compete in physical things, and he's one of the 5 that finished.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Devin's underrated. 15
points to him for completing it. Yeah. Emmanuel doesn't see anything but his family. 5 points. The Emerald team wins. We're going to start with... you want to go up to the top?
Yeah.
We'll start with Josh. Yeah. Josh, he gets 25, 15, and 15.
Oh, okay. Let me just copy and paste this.
Emmanuel.
Yep.
And then you're going to go Nani.
I got it now because I just did this a second ago. So
Casey.
I kind of know where everybody's at. Yeah.
Devin. And Tori.
Yep.
Let's see. Kyle is sick of people laughing at him. -5. What is that?
You type brain again?
I don't know what this says. Kyle is crushed though. -10 points.
I want to see what it says.
I think it's supposed to be the Kyle cross, but I don't know.
This is the cool cross.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Nice.
We'll just forget about that one. We are going to give 30 more points to the Emerald team.
Oh my god!
For the $3,000 and the P3s.
That's like everybody on your team, Jay.
No, we have 2 each. Every one of us have 2. So it actually just equals out to nothing.
Okay.
Because I have Nani and Casey, and you have Devin and Tori.
You got it? You remember everybody?
Yeah.
Devin?
I said yeah.
And Tori.
Yeah, I said those were the specific ones I just said.
We got grapes for CT, 5 points. Logan walks around in a towel, 5 points.
I'll take it.
But they all smell Logan's blood, -5. And they want to eat him, -5.
I didn't know he was bleeding.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah. According to Kyle, this is the worst day he's ever had in the challenge, -15. Kyle is so sorry, 10 points. Corey's proud, 5 points. To Corey.
Yeah, I got it.
Ed wants them to vote him in, -20.
Yeah, that's a bad move.
Yeah. But he has a heart, 5 points. Logan's got a good friend in Ed. We'll give 10 points to Logan on that one. But he doesn't know how to cry, -5. I'm going to give 20 points to Ashley for the you don't know this boy, you just met him logic.
Yeah.
-25 to Ed because he got voted in. Logan thinks that Nelson should be the target. -5 to Logan for that way of thinking. We get a family reunion for Corey with all his little pictures, 5 points. Ed has his big boy pants on, 5 points. -25 to Kyle for getting voted down. Kyle, they do them little montages as they're talking before
which I don't like.
Well, Kyle, this doesn't work for Kyle. -5.
Yeah.
Him trying to be intimidating.
I know. It feels so like American Gladiator style. Like I don't know. It feels off. They've never done that before.
Per Kyle, Ed doesn't have the right tactics. -5 to Ed. Per Devin, Kyle is all heart. We can relate to that sort of thing. 10 points to Kyle. I'm going to give 5 points to Ashley. She could have given us an episode quote here. This looks like a hurricane. Kyle wins, 75 points. Ed loses, -50. We're going to give another 15 to Kyle because no one has ever beaten him in pole wrestle.
Yeah.
Another 15 to Kyle because he's an ace at that game per TJ. Anytime TJ gives you a compliment, that is big-time fantasy points. They love Ed, though. 5 points to Ed. Another compliment from TJ for Kyle. One of the best ever to do that game. 15 points.
Wow.
Kyle made a funny grandpa joke. 10 points.
I forgot about that. Well, do you have it written down?
No, but he basically was like, when my grandpa was on his deathbed, he said,
Yeah.
you take any opportunity you have to be partnered with CT.
It was really funny.
-10 to Nelson because he's mad.
TJ loved it.
And CT doesn't know how to feel about this. -5. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are your fantasy points for the week, brought to you by You Want Some Muscles? You want to build some muscle?
P3.
We'll take a quick break. Oh, God.
Watch it.
Oh, is this recording?
Yeah.
And we're back one last time. You want to build some muscle?
P3.
I like how that flows, by the way. You want to build some muscle? P3.
If you guys had to
That's
guess,
how we need to be
if
doing
you guys
it.
had to guess, who do you think would have been the highest score of the week? Just don't look at this. Just guess.
I would have said Hannah.
I'm an individual
you're
person.
yeah.
Kyle?
I would have said Kyle, yeah.
Wrong. Emmanuel.
Really?
Yeah, Emmanuel was the highest score of the week.
How about that? But you know what? Kyle had a few negatives thrown in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Emmanuel pretty much only had positive.
Willie
and,
on the staircase.
And he was on the winning daily team, and he was safe. If you had to guess who had the biggest negative, who would you think?
Ed?
You know what? Off the top of my head, I'm going to say Bettina.
It was Ed. Now, Bettina's wasn't that bad, but it was the worst on my team. All right, so here we go. CT had 20. Amanda's mucus plug got her -20, and that's her only scoring, so she ended up with -20. Ed was -90.
Yeah,
Wow.
I knew Ed had a big negative week.
Josh was 80. Emmanuel was 115.
Wow.
Emmy was -10, and Big T was -10. Nelson was 10. Ashley was 25. Nani was 75. Casey was 95. And then Bettina was -30. And then Kyle ended up with 90. Devin ended up with 100.
Yeah.
Corey 25. Logan -10. And then Tori with 100.
Han, you had a big week.
Yeah, Hannah had
I needed this. I've
You
been
had a big week.
so far behind.
Hannah had the biggest week by far. Jake, you ended up with an 85 total for the week.
Probably my lowest scoring week.
Probably. I ended up with 175 for the week, and Hannah ended up with 305 for the week.
Oh, my God.
I'm still really far behind.
But she had
though.
190 from
Yeah.
3 players.
Yeah.
And her biggest negative was -10. Your biggest negative was -90, and mine was a -30. So, like, that's where that all came in. So, it is much closer in the second place race. Hannah's still in third place, but she's at 1185.
Oh, man,
I'm
I
in
broke
second
1,000.
at 1230. So I'm only like 50 points, 45 points ahead of her, something like
Wow.
that.
Okay.
How about that?
And then Jake is at 1975. So,
The 1975. Great
It's one of my
band.
favorites, yeah.
so it's closer than it was for sure, and it's gonna get interesting coming down the stretch because even though it's like a 600, 700 point difference, like we have some more days like this. Hannah got 300 in this, and you got 85. So like it's
Yeah.
not out of possibility.
Well, up until this week, I thought it was out of possibility. I really did.
I think both of us do have a chance to catch him depending on how these dailies break down and who goes home. If Jake goes on a streak of
Losing people.
Well,
yeah.
and I've been losing people.
if he loses like Amanda, Josh, Emmanuel, Emmy, Big T, which by the way, Big T and Emmy are probably pretty good possibilities to go home sooner than some others. Now I've got
Next week is
I've got like
elimination.
Bettina on my team, so I'm not like anything like that.
My
but-
closest one to go home is Logan.
and he got protected by Ed, but if he's still hurt, I think
Yeah.
we'll have to see. That'll be 2 weeks from now. But I mean, I think it's going to end up being closer than what we initially thought for the huge run that it went on for a while. Because there was a time where Jake was at 1165 and I was at 560 and I was at 350. And
Yeah.
So like we're closing in a little bit.
Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense because every time we do fantasy points for a new season, I somehow typically end up in a position like Jake is in where the first several weeks I don't have anybody go home. I had that a lot last season, right? Like I was in first place for a while because none of my players
Yeah.
went home, and then all of a sudden, like half past the midway point, I lost all my players at
Honestly,
the same time.
if I'm being like you talking about all stars, you talking about the actual last season.
I don't remember.
I don't remember anything that happened.
But I do remember one of them. I was in the lead because none of my people went home for a long time.
I'll have to pull up the Google Docs because I've got them. Because I honestly don't remember. I think I won the first one.
I've never won one of these seasons.
I would like to start putting stakes to this.
What do you mean?
Stakes?
No,
Like,
I'm saying
are there vampires after you?
like whoever wins gets to choose the stakes for the other two.
What does
like
that mean?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
Some sort of punishment.
I don't know if I agree to this.
No, but something playful, like not something that's detrimental to our character or like our,
Okay.
But
if
something
I
super
win,
goofy,
if I
like-
win, Jake has to eat green olives and Zach has to eat black olives.
But all right, something like that, where like maybe we have
We're
to
gonna do
maybe
that anyway.
maybe we have to eat 10 olives a day for a week.
Oh my
Something.
gosh!
Like stuff like that.
You can.
I'm not
No
saying.
way!
I'm just saying.
Screw
like,
you.
Starting with All Stars 2, because we're gonna do that. I would say we're gonna do that draft this weekend.
Possibly. It'll. We got till November 11th on that. We need to do some other Patreon stuff, which will be coming soon.
But
yeah.
yeah, I say we start putting stakes to it. That's the next step in this, right?
We'll flesh this out a little bit more.
10 olives a
I'm
day
not
for a
agreeing.
week is too much.
Jake,
I'm not doing that.
I think you've forgotten how bad those olives were.
But it's a punishment.
That's too much of a punishment. Maybe 10 olives in one sitting.
Here's the thing: if that happens, like you'd have to like film yourself doing it and like send it.
I would if that was your punishment for us, I would do it.
Because like
I play fair, bub. Like
stop calling me bub. You're not Wolverine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast. Again, we have a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out in there very soon. We just, obviously, vacation kind of got in the way of. But you know what? We still recorded 2 whole podcasts on vacation.
On vacation,
Yeah.
we did.
That was a
some
lot.
of our patrons were like, take your time, like.
And hey, we appreciate that. We really do
Yeah.
appreciate the understanding from our patrons.
But yeah, we've got a lot of stuff planned on coming out on Patreon very soon. So check that out, and then follow us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, all that stuff. You know how to find us, and we do have a PO box, which I never plug. It's in the show notes. Just go check it out. I'm probably gonna not renew it the next time because it's not worth it. Like we're not like we've had some people send us stuff, but it's just not worth the cost right now. So unless we get a big influx, which go for it, we'll talk about them on Patreon if we get things like that. So until then, this is gonna come out Monday, and then we'll have another episode after the next episode premieres Wednesday night.
Have a good night, everyone.